Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Exploring DC, where we take a piece of DC and explore with you. I am your host, Josh, and with me, as always, except not last week,
Yeah, not
is
last week.
my lovely co-host, Jackson Wells.
I know it's
Jackson,
been it's been 2 weeks since I've been here. It's good to be back.
it has. Did you do any soul searching on this break of yours? Did you
Yeah,
change as a person and
I
grow?
I've grown and changed as a person.
Yeah.
You kind of got it, in this
Okay.
economy.
And so now, having grown as a person, what would you give Justice League 2017 like
I
out of
give
10?
I give it a solid 0 out of 10.
Oh, okay. That's a that's a big change from the seven.
Shut the fuck up. Let's go. What are we talking about today, Joshua?
No Jalen this week, by the way, guys.
What are we talking?
He should be back next week. We're talking about the movie that Jalen wanted to talk about, which is the first movie in the DC animated movie universe they did in the early 2010s. It is called Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox, released in 2013. The Flash finds himself in a war-torn alternate timeline and teams up with alternate versions of his fellow heroes to restore the timeline. Directed by Jay Oliva here. Jay Oliva did the movie we talked about last week, while you were gone, the Batman Assault on Arkham Suicide Squad movie. He's done a ton of DC stuff, like we talked about last week, Dark Knight Returns movies, a lot of these DCAMU movies, very established. Written by James Krieg, this his resume here is interesting. He's done a few like DCAMU stuff. He did like Gotham by Gaslight, so those are all fine. He even did a lot of the Lego DC ones, like the short little half-hour animated ones. But he's also done both the Tomorrowverse Crisis on Infinite Earths trilogy, which is not written very well and very like haphazardly rushed. And he also wrote are partly the Batman and Harley Quinn movie, which is in the Batman the Animated Series universe and is widely considered one of the worst parts of that whole universe.
Yeah.
That's the one where Harley Quinn like ties up Nightwing and stuff, and
Oh,
it and there's a bunch of like fart jokes, and it's just like relatively really rough. So honestly, I mean, we'll get into it later, but I mean, maybe the writing is probably the weak point of this one, and I think that kind of speaks to that. Cast here is interesting because it doesn't have a
very
lot of
interesting. I looked at it after I finished. I was like, wait, what the
yeah,
fuck? There's a couple that'll have you like, wait.
right. So there obviously this is part of the DC like AMU thing they did. Mostly none of these people actually continued on into those
Yeah.
movies, right? Like even Justice League War, they'd recast a bunch of people. Justin Chambers here plays the Flash. He's mostly known for TV work like Grey's Anatomy. Never did another DC project again. C. Thomas Howell, also known for a lot of TV work, did Eobard Thawne. He did come back though for one like a Suicide Squad movie later on in the timeline. Kevin McKidd did Flashpoint Batman, the Thomas Wayne. They bring back Kevin Conroy as Bruce Wayne Batman, even though he's also not the mainline Batman in this continuity. Ends up being Jason O'Hara, so
Yeah.
very interesting
Strange.
there. Has a ton of established voice actors here: D. Bradley Baker, Steve Bloom, Sam Daly, Greg Lyle, Vanessa Marshall, Hendon Walsh, just everyone under the sun. Ron Perlman.
Very interesting one too.
Yeah, Carrie Elwes from the fucking Saw movies and Princess Bride is Aquaman. The two here that we obviously have to talk about. Michael B. Jordan plays Cyborg,
Yeah, right. What the fuck?
and I was watching the movie and I was hearing his voice. And I was like, I know who that is, but I'm
I
like
was the
not
same way.
placing it because my mind is never going to go to Michael B. Jordan for like a direct to video, especially because Creed came out a couple years after this movie, so it wasn't like he was underground or anything at this point in time.
Yeah.
He's good. I like his cyborg. I think it would be cool to see him actually try it again at some point, whether that's like in voiceover or in live action. I
Yeah,
think he
that's
would
never
kill it, but
happened.
it'd be so cool. Like he would knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
So it's like a cool little just it was like when we talked about Assault on Arkham last week with me and Jalen. Giancarlo Esposito plays like Black Spider, just one of the random team members, and he's not focused on it all. And it's just funny to like go back to these old animated movies and to have like some random actor in the voice cast be a lot bigger than they were at the time
Yeah,
that was coming out. But the other one here, which is kind of relevant now, is Nathan Fillion voices Hal
and
Jordan
Ron
here.
Perlman's also in it, right?
Yeah, Ron Perlman's in it as well. But Nathan Fillion is the ironically the only like Justice League actor to really continue on into the other
Yeah.
movies. How do you feel about him as like Green Lantern
He's not in
here?
the movie very much.
No, he's not.
He doesn't really do anything.
I do kind of like his voice for it though.
He's
In
good,
terms
yeah.
of like, I'm not mad that that was where they went with it. But yeah, we talked about him as Steve Trevor in that Wonder Woman episode we never put out, and now he's voice Green Lantern. Obviously, he's doing stuff in the DCU now. He's just
He's everywhere in the DCU.
he's not as Alan Tudyk like level of
Yeah.
everywhere, but he's definitely up there.
No, I mean he's going to be in what 3 DCU projects in a row.
Pretty much. I mean, pretty much the same amount as like Frank Grillo.
Yeah, that's right. More
So,
well, Frank Grillo. Yeah, he has 3 in a row. That's true.
so it's pretty impressive. Uh, I tried to find like production info of like,
Yeah, you didn't find him.
anything interesting. Couldn't find shit, dude. I don't even like I was also curious if like they had planned for this to always be like a universe starter, and I guess so because I don't know if you saw. I'd look it afterwards. There's a post-credit scene in this.
There is.
Is basically just a 20-second clip of parademons flying out of a portal that sets up the next Justice League movie. So they had planned for it to be like more of a thing, but I'll get into it in a minute of like that whole thing. But let me start with you. Like, have you seen this one before?
I
A
have.
lot.
I've
How
read
do
the
you?
comic and I've seen this. Yeah,
Okay. When did you watch it? Like, how did you feel about it originally? Stuff
I
like that.
probably watched this around when the Justice League came out in theaters.
Okay.
I don't think I've touched the comic or read or watched this since.
Yeah.
It was just to put it to start off here. It was very interesting watching this in a post the Flash world.
Yeah. Well, either one, because it's crazy that both the show and the movie did Flashpoint, and both were like very far off from kind of what this
Yeah,
is. Because this is a very faithful adaptation for the most part
yeah.
of the
I
comic.
remember it being almost like beat for beat.
Yeah, I remember I did buy the comic because I always thought it was such an interesting like story idea as a kid, and especially after watching the CW show and people complaining about like how bad they messed up that version, I was like,
Mhm.
okay, let me read this
Because
comic.
I've seen that as well. I've seen the
You've seen that one, yeah? Because that was
I've seen,
early on before everyone dropped off
yeah.
except me. Um, yeah, let's just start uh presentation here. This is a big comic that they're adapting. We talked about like All-Star Superman before and how that like one to one kind of adapted the book. How do you feel like this one kind of comes off,
It's
especially being like a direct to video movie?
a little inconsistent. Some of it looks really good. Some of it looks not so good, in my opinion.
Yeah. So what looks great here?
Uh, that entire opening is really cool. I think where it loses me a little bit is like some of the running is a little bit. It could look a little more exciting to me, especially like that final run doesn't look because I think
It
they
looks
kind of
very CG.
yeah they switch like fully to 3D there, and I don't think it works very well.
Uh-uh.
It doesn't
That
hold up.
whole final run felt like they didn't know how to end the movie,
Mhm.
and then they
Yeah.
had this like really extended sequence.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I almost think if you had switched it up a little bit differently, you could have just ended it on Bruce, like looking at the note and
oh,
Barry walking
absolutely.
away, and that would have been a perfectly fine place to cut it off.
Because especially because that's one of the best scenes in both the book and the
That
movie.
is one of that is maybe the highlight of both of those, and I think one of the fatal flaws of this movie is that it doesn't feel like it lingers on that moment nearly enough.
hmm That's my thing is that I feel like the I need to reread the book to see if I agree with this, but for me, this movie in particular does not focus enough on like the emotions and the
Absolutely
character.
not.
It is entirely like spectacle
It
driven
is,
and like look
and that's
how
because I think the
weird everything
character stuff
is.
is interesting in theory.
Well, the whole thing, that's honestly one of the through lines of the movie, which we'll talk about someday, unfortunately. But the one of the through lines of the Flash movie that works really well
Is
is
the
that it
emotion now?
focuses a lot on Barry and his mom. And
Which
like,
ironic, but something. I guess if we're gonna be on the Flash, I didn't
yeah,
really notice some of like the direct adaptations of this storyline in the Flash.
yeah.
Like
Well, the
I guess for whatever reason, I mean, just maybe because the book wasn't fresh in my head, but like I missed like Superman in the white shirt locked up,
mhm.
all that type of shit. Like I kind of missed even Barry having to get his powers back. Like that's all stuff I missed.
Well, even when the Flash was going through, again, this would be really funny when we actually do the episode, but when they were originally in development on that fucking production
Yeah,
hell, I mean,
it
Ray
was called
Fisher was
Flashpoint.
involved at one
Yeah.
point.
Hmm.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan was being talked about for
Yep.
Flashpoint Batman. I think there was a solid point where they were doing this story, and
Well,
they
they were
could have,
calling it Flashpoint initially.
yeah,
But
and they could have done it
I
too.
think
Is
the
the thing.
problem though is that like you kind of can't do this movie or this story unless you already have Eobard Thawne like in the
That's true.
mix. Because that's like he's not in this movie a lot. He's like in it
No,
for
he's not.
maybe like 15 minutes, if that.
But he both in this one and he plays a similar role in the CW version of it. I think
Yeah,
he's the best part of the story because he's just like
he's a menace.
he's such an obvious like it's Barry's like all his anguish and all his fears just like summed up in one
Yeah,
person, and like for him to kind of voice how Barry is the one that's caused all this
yeah, I like
and
that.
like really dig into him that way,
It would be cool if they explored that for more than one fucking scene.
it would be.
And I guess
But
that's something that I hate to give credit to this fucking movie because it's not good,
mhm,
but something I appreciate about The Flash is that it makes a point that this is all Barry right out the gate.
right. That's what I've liked about the show version too. Both of those
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
is that Barry is the driving force behind it and the guilt he feels. I think that should have been like the twist doesn't work very
No, it
well in
doesn't.
this one because it's not focused on long enough. Like it's just very brushed over.
Agreed.
And that goes back to it just being very spectacle driven. Like we get into this new timeline.
Every DC character to ever exist is in this
Yeah,
fucking movie.
exactly. And it's like it feels like when you read some of those comics runs, like we read Blackest Night, and it just
Yeah.
kind of feels like they're just throwing a lot of shit at you, and if you
Mhm.
aren't in the know, you're just like either not going to care or be very lost. That's how this one feels, especially because there's no movies before this to set it
Mhm.
up. It's just like, hey, we're in the DC universe. Here's every. It's most apparent when there's that like resistance team with Lois Lane, and she's
Yeah.
like, I know who you guys are, and lists a bunch of like D list
Yeah.
people that like you'll have to be a fucking like I barely know those people. I know like Girder and like that's it.
The
And
boy idiot.
the boy idiot, bro. I thought he was supposed to be like Red Hood or something at first.
Yeah, me too.
And that was the moment where I was like, okay, we're just like really deep in the shit here.
Yeah, we're
Like
just doing shit. Like we're
who
just saying
cares at this point,
Avengers
bro?
Endgame ass. Like,
Avengers Endgame, but for like characters that like I don't give a shit about.
and
Like
also
I
I don't totally buy the Wonder Woman Aquaman like conflict. I fear
yes, but that's also an issue with the book.
it is.
It's a good backdrop, but it needs to be like developed more than what it is.
Yeah, it either needs to be given more or less attention, one or the other.
Right. I think it could work because I love the idea of like those are arguably like the two biggest like sectors of the DC universe in terms of like on Earth because obviously there's a Green Lantern Corps but they're in space and
Yeah,
the idea of them like warring is so
it's cool.
cool, but it's very much just again just spectacle here and like
Yeah, empty
especially when you have
spectacle.
like
I'm like,
every
why is
aqua
Black Manta there?
you have like every Aquaman side character showing up, and I'm like, why are they all evil? Like, what happened necessarily?
And why is like yeah, like why is Black Manta there? Why is Orm there? Like
Exactly.
I think it would be more interesting if Orm wasn't really with them for that. You know?
And I like that, like, with the reason the Flashpoint Batman and Superman work really well in this is because you know the reason they're different. You know
Yeah.
what happened to
Mhm.
Superman to get him in
Exactly.
that spot, and you know it's a very simple change with Flashpoint and Batman, but like it's a very fun like what if scenario. With the Aquaman and Wonder Woman thing, it's less like what changed and more like, oh yeah, they're just evil now and
They're just evil.
fighting,
Yeah.
and so it doesn't work as well. Let me talk about Flashpoint Batman though, because that was one of the things I wish that was in either of the live action adaptations. I think it's
It's cool.
so cool. Like
It
his
is cool.
costume rocks. It's such a simple change and it works really well. And I think it's smart that he's the secondary character in this story.
Agreed.
How do you like how do you feel about how they adapted
And
him voice wise and
Jeffrey Dean
everything?
Morgan would have eaten the fuck out of that.
Oh, he would have.
He
He
would have
was
eaten
so
the fuck out of that.
wasted in that universe.
I
That was
can't
such a
even say he
good
was
casting.
wasted because he never really got to do anything. Like I
Well,
think Snyder.
exactly. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
but I'm saying like Snyder brought him in because like that's his dude. Put him in
Hmm.
as a little cameo. Like I can't really be mad about that, but like I am a little disappointed he never got to play Flashpoint Batman because he
Yeah,
was
I'm mad. I'm mad they wasted him considering they did Flashpoint. They didn't bring him
okay.
in.
Yeah, yeah, fair.
I'm like, that's ridiculous. Like you had such a great casting there. Uh but yeah, I love what they do with Batman. I even like the Martha Wayne Joker thing, even though it's kind of a stretch that she would just turn
That's a little
evil like
silly.
that.
That's a little silly.
But I mean it's a cool like way to twist the Joker. I
Yeah,
just wish there was more development to it than just like her
it's an irrelevant detail.
it's crazy when they cut to it and Bruce like immediately dies and she instantly breaks. I'm like, I don't think that would happen. But
Yeah,
I like the idea of Martha Wayne like deteriorating while Thomas Wayne just becomes Batman.
yeah.
That's cool. Um,
I forgot that they murder a child in this movie.
they do. They do murder a child.
Wonder Woman
And
murders a fucking child.
Wonder Woman goes off in this one. I mean, she does
Yeah,
wearing Mara's crown and everything
that's kind of
and
tough. I can't lie.
there's no remorse. I love Okay, here's another thing. Some of the designs in this movie are really good
Hmm.
and some of them are like
Hmm.
ugly,
Hmm.
particularly Superman in the opening, and that carries over into some of the other ones. I think. Why does he like? Why is his neck
Hunky,
like that?
hunky ass guy.
He looks ugly, man. And and then they make like Green Lantern and Flash look like perfectly chiseled and normal, and Superman just looks like he got I don't know, like he's taken roids wrong, and I
Yeah.
just don't.
Yeah,
I don't get the art style of this
it's a
universe, and
little
I
all over
never
the place,
did.
isn't it?
It kind of like it's supposed to be inspired by the New 52, and I think that's a problem that the New 52 had. Is just that character designs were so all over the place with things.
Yeah.
Some things looked really cool, and some things just looked very overly designed or too modernized,
Yeah.
and I did not like it. And I think that that carries over into this movie where, especially at the lower budget animation, when you have some ugly character designs like that, it's just like tough
It
to
stands out.
like. How am I supposed to get connected to Superman when he looks like that? And
Yeah.
I don't know. Um, what else is in here that's really super problematic or good in here? I did like the beginning with Gotham, how they kind of referenced the animated series and even like some like neo-futurism.
Yeah.
I wish they had done more set pieces than what they have in this one, because even the final fight's kind of underwhelming.
Yeah, it is. Although I do, I don't remember how it looks in the book, but like the scene of Barry running back in time, it is very reminiscent of Justice League.
Oh yeah, that is pretty cool. Uh, I agree with you, man. I wish we had more of like Fawn and more of the connection to Barry,
Yeah.
and it makes me like really curious to go back and read. I think
Yeah,
I'll
I
reread
might
this
have
book
to.
before we cover like the Flash movie at whatever point we do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that up again soon because that is like the one thing I left this movie wanting to do was pick the comic back up
Mm-hmm.
and just see if it suffered from a lot of the issues that I had with this film.
Yeah. So let me hit a point here. We're living in a very multiverse centric like comic
Yeah.
book era with media, right?
Yes.
And that's always been a thing in the comics, but it's very much so prevalent in like movie and TV right now.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like this story, which was kind of like a really big early what if like alternate history thing, kind of loses its weight now, like watching it in
Yes.
2025.
Yes, and I say this because this wouldn't be the case if the narrative was beefier.
Okay.
Like I think that I think that it's so caught up in the spectacle, and like in 2025 that just doesn't mean anything to me. Like to high school, middle school me maybe it did, but
Yeah, it feels like we've seen so many alternate things at this point. I
yeah,
mean, even we're going to talk about Peacemaker in a little bit, and that's another like alternate dimension thing
I'll
that
probably have
the
I'll be singing a very different song when we get to that, but
right, and it's like you can. It's good when it's character driven and story driven, and
yeah,
the Flashpoint story is overall driven by like Barry and his mom. Not in this movie, but like the actual story.
yeah,
I just feel like with this one, it's like
it gets lost in the sauce.
a lot of the interesting elements of it aren't that interesting. Like Aquaman and Wonder Woman being evil.
Yeah,
It's like Superman being locked up. We've seen that before, or landing in a different scenario. It's just it doesn't have the iconic factor that it kind of used to have for me when I was back in middle school.
yeah,
And I think it's also watered down a lot by both the live action adaptations, just kind of like taking a lot of the wind out of it.
yeah, I would agree with that.
You know what it honestly feels like is DC's version of kind of Dark Phoenix in terms of media.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Is it?
Not
Am I
wrong though.
wrong
Like
though? I mean, it's like one of those iconic storylines that everyone knows, but there really isn't like
a definitive version of it on screen. Yeah.
there really isn't a definitive version of it that like people love and people respect. Even this one is like it's a faithful adaptation, but does anyone really care about
Yo,
this one?
guy whose favorite like DC movie is the fucking Flashpoint Paradox.
Even in like the I don't like the overall DC animated movie universe. I can't imagine this is like the most interesting one, just because it's the only one actually besides Batman Hush, which we'll be talking about at some point. That's like just a one to one adaptation
Yeah,
of like a comic storyline.
yeah.
I wish we had Jalen here because I'm sure he would be a lot more like
We
positive
have
on
more
this
to add.
one.
Yeah,
And it kind of feels like when we did All Star Superman. Like I loved
I felt
talking
the
about the
same way.
book and the story, but the movie is just like
Yeah,
yeah, it's
same
the
thing, but
same.
less interesting.
I but it makes me wonder. It's like, do I want them to change a lot about the story? Not
I just
really.
wonder like what the value of this is. Like not DC animated movies. That's not what I'm questioning. Just one to one, low budget animated adaptations of comic books. Like I don't.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced there's a lot of like artistic value there, or that it's really adding much to DC.
it feels like it has the same weight as like a motion comic where
Yeah,
the voice is just over
yeah,
the. It's kind of like even when we do live action adaptations of stuff like I talked about Dark Phoenix, I honestly prefer when they mix things like mix different storylines. That's kind of what I liked about the new Superman or even Peacemaker is that they're not
yeah.
it's not like an adaptation of one thing. All the best comic book stuff for the most part, even like Infinity War and Endgame are adapting something, but it's
Yes,
not
Civil
like
War. Yeah,
one to one adapting, and that's what works is when you could take elements of a comic that work, but it's like you're in your own universe, do your own thing. The comics are
you
there
give
for a
something
reason.
new to people who have read the comic. I don't think I again I don't know that it's very helpful to just adapt a comic one to one. Like that's something I've already seen.
Yeah,
Tell me
it's very
something
boring.
different.
It's very like live action remake coded
Yeah,
or type
yeah.
stuff. Maybe to a less evil extent,
Less,
but
much less evil. Yeah,
still just kind of like what are we?
for what
It's a novelty thing,
it is.
and that's a disappointment because I look back at this one. And I thought like I enjoyed it a lot more than I
Yeah,
did when I rewatched it. And I rewatched it. I'm just like, yeah, I'd rather read
read the
the
comic.
comic and then like go watch the live action ones because at least the live action ones, as flawed as they are,
Change a
different.
lot.
They're very flawed, but they're very like they're trying something.
Yeah,
It's like in both cases, not succeeding, but like one's on a TV budget and one's just like production held to death, and they're
Yeah,
fascinating
the
versions of
TV
it.
show has a little bit more of an excuse. That would be an interesting one to talk about one day.
One day, yeah, but um, yeah, I don't know if I have much more to say about this
No, I
one.
want to talk about Peacemaker.
So I'll give it a like a middle of the road kind of thumbs. Do you Have you seen a lot of the DC animated movie universe, which we'll probably talk about the
I've
next year or so?
probably seen like a quarter to half.
I always felt like ones that were around, but I only saw bits and pieces of, and I didn't
Yeah,
care because I wasn't watching it in like continuity.
yeah.
And people always gas it up, and I think it's just because the like final movie is so good.
Which one was that?
That was the Justice League Dark like
Oh, I did see that.
sequel
I did see that.
where everyone
Everyone
dies
fucking
and
dies. Yeah,
like it goes. It's like the end game movie.
I remember
But
that.
in the middle, there's like a bunch of random Batman, Damian Wayne stuff, and Teen Titans and all this
I
shit. And I'm
remember
just
that. Yeah.
like, I don't think those are very good. But we'll have to get to those at some point. But yeah, well, this is a good start. I'm very curious to get Jalen's thoughts whenever we move on to the next Justice League one here. Yeah, but you teased the Jackson. We'll talk about Peacemaker because we talked about it last week, and I need to hear your thoughts. This one that we're going to talk about mainly today, season 2, episode 2.
The
A
one with Tim
man
Meadows.
A man is only as good as his bird, directed by Greg Matola. Are you familiar with Greg? This is the director of the hit movie Superbad,
What the fuck?
as well as Adventureland and some of those other early 2000s comedies. Yeah,
Wait, really?
I found this out because I've been listening, like by your recommendation. I didn't do the season 1 episodes, but I've been listening to the
Podcast.
Peacemaker podcast for season 2, and they talk about his work on. I'm like, holy shit, it is like it's the same guy,
That's wild. I
and
didn't know that.
I think this episode, which should kind of cover some things. It's developing the team a lot more, and they have their first meeting where everyone's on screen. We also get, obviously, like you talk about Tim Meadows and all that great bits, and some stuff with Eagly. We'll get into it, but I think it's better than the first one.
Agreed.
So,
I
it,
love Tim Meadows
yeah,
so much.
bro, I knew he was gonna be funny too,
Yeah.
and he's a new character, like new to everything. Langston Fleury. He's just basically a random agent that Sasha Bordeaux sends out to watch Economos.
Yeah.
And I don't know what sauce that James Gunn wrote that Tim Meadows like just performed excellent. But he was just so
It felt
funny.
like a role written specifically for Tim Meadows, which knowing James Gunn, it probably was. Like, I'm not even going to hold you, but.
It's the thing though, he said he auditioned a bunch of other people, and at a certain point he was like, I bet my friend Tim Meadows would be really good at this. And they
I
bring
didn't
Tim
realize
Meadows
he knew
in.
Tim Meadows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He knows, I mean, it's fucking
I
James
know.
Gunn, he knows
Yeah, I know.
everyone.
But yeah,
So
that shouldn't
anyway,
surprise me.
Tim Meadows didn't like audition or anything, so they didn't know. And he didn't rehearse, so they didn't know how he was going to perform until he was on set that day. And so James was there within the van for a little bit with them just to see how things went in case it went like really bad.
Yeah.
And I think it went so good. I love,
The moment he said, "This motherfucker looks like he caught all the Pokemon," I was like, "This guy's gonna be the best part of the season." Like,
bro. I think it had one of my favorite post credit scenes because
oh yeah, that was so good.
Economos is like, it's called Pokemon. He's like, I don't care. I had two women on my team. And then the post credit scene is just John Economos getting all the information out of it. He's like, so what were their names? And he's like, Gertrude and Olga.
Yeah, it's just he has such a deadpan line delivery of it all. It is just so fucking funny.
And
I
it has arguably James Gunn's one of his funniest ideas ever, which is the bird
bird
blindness thing.
blindness. Yeah,
The way he delivers, he's like, bird blindness, my only weakness.
yeah.
I'm like,
That's what I'm saying. That is a joke that, like, on paper could be so bad, but Tim Meadows delivers it with like such grace. Like, he's one of the best dudes we got. I always like he's just one of my favorite dudes to see pop up like in things.
oh,
Like, he showed up in The Mandalorian, and I got like really happy.
Dude,
He's
he's
awesome.
always reliable too, and he's never like limiting himself. Like he'll show up in anything.
No, I know.
He's
I've
in
never seen
fucking
him
Mean
better
Girls
than
2, man.
huh?
The like direct to DVD Mean Girls sequel. He's even in that.
Oh
Like
my god, I
he's
didn't know
in
that.
shitty Lindsay Lohan Christmas movies. He's in ABC sitcoms. He's in everything, and I love him. And I love the bird blindness thing, especially because James Gunn's like, he's like, this guy probably never had to use this, like this never affected him in any way in his
Yeah.
government job except for this one particular mission.
And also it's like back on Tim Meadows,
Mm-hmm.
it's rare that I see him in something and it feels like they're actually like using him to the best of his abilities. Like weirdly, one of I think his funniest roles is like Dewey Cox. I don't know if you've seen that. That movie's fucking hilarious, by
Was
the
he
way.
good in it?
Huh? Oh
He's
my
good
god.
in it.
He has maybe the funniest running joke in that entire movie. He like it is like it had me like to the point of tears when I watched it last time. But it's like rare that I see him in a role where he really gets to like shine. And
Right.
that's what I really appreciate about this is that like he is like front and center. And it's just it's awesome.
I
But kind of moving on from him, like
mm-hmm.
I am really enjoying the season so far.
Yeah, so how did you feel about the first episode and just
I like
kind of
it a
where they're
lot.
taking things so far?
I like it a
For
lot. I like the direction they're taking with the alternate dimensions.
mm-hmm.
I figured Gunn would pull that off well, and he did. I thought the way that they retconned the Justice League was smart. I thought that Justice Gang scene, like in the Maxwell Lord interview, was
Yeah,
cool. Again, the trailers. I really wish they didn't show that in the trailers, but
it is what it is, yeah.
because like the trailers really completely derailed the flow of that scene too. It flows a lot better in the show.
Well, I was talking to Jalen about it too, and I mentioned last week in this episode that they filmed it all secluded in a room. It wouldn't have leaked. They could have had a really fun bit that popped if they had
Yeah,
kept that a secret.
agreed.
And I don't think them putting in the trailer convinced anyone to
No,
watch
guy who's
Peacemaker
watching
season
this for
2.
fucking Hot Girl.
Yeah, exactly. So I was actually pissed that they how they handled the market. Not that it's gonna matter in 6 months, but like
No, but yeah, no, it's like it's not a long scene, and it would have. I would have gotten excited, like
it would have
genuinely.
been a really fun first watch, and
Yeah,
that's what got ruined by it.
yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm excited, especially in the second episode, how they're continuing things. Of I like
Question for you:
yeah, go ahead.
Y- Are we or are we not about to see Joel Kinnaman next week or
You
this
think
week?
next week?
This week,
Okay.
sorry,
Um,
or just
it's
in general.
it's a possibility based on the fact that he's even shown in like all those flashbacks, which is a really nice opening of
Yeah,
this episode. I love
that was
seeing
good.
Rick Flag. Obviously, that's we knew how that was going to go, but I think it's nice to see him kind of acknowledge everything.
Yeah.
It'd be a good pullback to have Joe Kinnaman, especially because of how good he was in the Suicide Squad. It'd be nice to see him like get to play the role again. Because as soon
Now,
as he was getting good, he got killed.
I think you should go tell someone in 2016 that they're going to reboot the DC universe in 10 years, and the only person who's going to stick around is fucking Joel Kinnaman from the
Joe,
Suicide Squad.
dude, arguably like one of the worst parts of that original
Horrible. Just a horrible
movie.
character, horrible performance, and also one of the best parts of Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I the whole theory that I saw people have is that Amelia
He's,
Harcourt's
yeah,
dating
I
Rick
love that.
Flag.
I love
That'd
that.
be really cool. But I'm also, if we don't see him again, that's fine too. I think the story can carry weight without having to bring back like a dead character.
But I think the whole point of that alternate universe is that it's all his failures kind of
Yeah,
manifesting. And I think that is his ultimate like failure
failure
in life is
is seeing Rick
killing
Flag.
Flag. Yeah. So I think that it wouldn't just be cameo porn. Like I think that would
No, it wouldn't be.
legitimately be an interesting thing to do would be to bring Flag in.
Right, I think so. But I'm not gonna be like upset if that's not
No, no,
the
but
case.
it also feels like that's where it's going though.
I think so. I think we've kind of a lot
Because
of people
I
have followed the
wonder
beats of where things are going so far pretty
because I
well.
wonder if Flag Senior doesn't make his way over there at some point.
I think him and Peacemaker will like team up at some point to stop. I bet that Keith and the dad might still be evil. Maybe
Oh, I think
Keith.
they are.
Like it's too nice right now.
No, that's what I'm
And
saying.
based on how
It's gonna,
Peacemaker immediately reacted to the other Chris and started like trying to kill him,
yeah.
I was like, there's no way these guys are like just traditional heroes,
No, I
because
agree.
a traditional hero would have like been more inquisitive and trying to figure out what's going on than just like resort to killing. And
But
so,
also, I mean, my entire spiel is also coming from the fact that the next episode is called "Another Rick Up My Sleeve."
is that what it is?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's
Okay.
a great title, but
That might okay, I see where people are thinking with that.
that's got to mean another
Yeah.
Rick Flag.
But honestly, what stood out to the most in this episode was the whole rooftop scene,
Yes,
which
that
I
was fantastic. I mean, their dynamic is just so good.
James said that that was because he had to work on Superman. They had to film episodes 2 and 3, which Matola directed first, and that was the first thing they filmed coming back. So they had all not
Oh,
seen
that's
each other
wonderful.
really in a large capacity for a couple of years, and the chemistry just like immediately seeps back in, and it's just wonderful to see
Yeah.
them.
So did
I,
Gunn direct the rest of the season minus 2 and 3?
he directed 1, 5, or 6, and then 8.
Okay.
I don't remember if it's 5. I think it's 6. I think it's 1, 6, and 8 because
Yeah,
that's the
he
ones
said
he's
6
been
is his
hiding.
favorite thing.
Yeah, he's been hiding 6 and 7 and 8. So
And I think he
he
specifically said 6 and 8 were like his favorite things he's done.
right. So he's directed a couple episodes less
Yeah.
this season, but that's because he was busy working on Superman.
Man, yeah.
But I think Matola really
He did a good job.
highlighted the character moments, highlighted the humor really well. I love what they're doing with Chris and like his he's getting better as a person, but he's also going through so much, and you can just
Yeah.
John Cena's killing it, absolutely killing it compared to season
So
one.
good.
I think he's really
He's
stepped
gotten
up his
better
game.
too.
And even like other moments, like I love the drunken conversation with Leota and
Yeah.
Economos. I think Steve Agee's doing fantastic stuff already. Vigilante continues to be like the best comedic. I mean, Tim Meadows is fast approaching, but other than that, Vigilante is just like
Yeah, he's
I
great.
fucking love him. I love that bit in the first episode too, where he's like on his rant about owls, and Economos like, you know nothing about owls. He's like, fuck,
Oh
I
yeah,
know
that was one of the
everything about
funniest bits
owls.
of that episode.
Freddie Stroma is just like he plays him so innocently, but he's also just like the worst person.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's where he quickly avoids becoming like a Deadpool figure.
yeah,
Is that he has that boyish innocence that Deadpool doesn't have.
like the part where they're chopping up the alternate Peacemaker's body, and Vigilante is just like so content and happy that he's
Yeah.
helping his friend. I fucking love that character. I don't care that they've switched it up from the comic. I think this version is just so fun
He's fun. Yeah.
and so unique, and I just man, it works really really well. But yeah, I'm continuing to love it. I think it's been great to have like a superhero show on that I actually am
Yeah,
invested in week
exactly.
to week. Which I know you watched Daredevil and you were watching that week to week, but I really haven't had one in a long time. A big
Yeah.
live action show that I've been
Yeah.
invested in. So I'm having a great time. I'm so excited, especially if we get a Joel Kinnaman Rick Flag. That'd be really cool to see.
Yup.
And then we'll get into some news and we'll end it. We'll end it here. A couple things here. We sent something in our group chat that there was a DC film scheduled for May 29th, 2026, and we thought that like Supergirl got moved
Supergirl.
up or
Yeah.
something. This was already dated like back when Clayface was announced
Oh,
last
really?
year.
So
And
that's not
so
anything.
what had happened was Deadline put out an article, I think because like maybe Cat in the Hat got delayed or something like that. So they put out the updated WB release schedule and people still saw that on there.
I guess it
I
just
think
never.
they could move up Supergirl because they have the date already open, but I think it's just going to get removed or changed
Yeah,
to a
I
different
don't think
WB
that's going to
thing.
be anything.
Yeah, and I think they could move Supergirl up though, just considering the fact that it's opening so close to Spider Man.
When Supergirl's at July?
It's June right now,
Oh wow.
so I think they'd be smart to move it up to May.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean,
But
you don't
then
know
they're
how
competing
to.
with Star Wars, which might be big, might be not. We'll see. You never know, man. It's Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
So, um, Clayface has begun filming this
exciting.
week as we're recording.
Interesting note about that
Hmm.
is that the set pics seem to imply that it's set in the modern day, which
Which we talked about. I'm not what I wanted. I
not what
wanted
we
it to be
thought it would be either. I'm fine with this. I don't have a problem with it.
yes, but it would have been such a sick period piece.
It would have.
And that's especially when people were like doing the substance comparisons, that's how you set it apart.
Yeah.
Is you
I don't
do a
know.
really
I'm,
fucked up
I'm
body
curious to see
horror.
how this turns out. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah,
I
I
love
am
a good
too.
horror movie.
We had a couple things that we learned from filming so far. A guy named Eddie Marsan, who's an older British actor. You would recognize his face if you saw him, but I can't like
Yeah.
know any of his big roles. He was cast as Clayface's manager because he's been around on set, so we know that that's going to be a character that's relevant. There's been some graffiti Easter eggs for both the Jokers, which is a gang in Batman Beyond era stuff. So obviously it could be shifted. They've also brought in I forget the gang from The Dark Knight Returns with like the visors and
Yeah.
like all the punk rock. They brought that in a lot of modern day stuff. So it never surprises me when they pull stuff from like future stuff and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But they also had a graffiti for or poster for Alias Insane, which is the band that Black Canary is a part of in
Oh,
comics,
cool.
which is cool to see. And then there's also a newspaper that showed both kind of like a very blurred image of what Clayface looks like, all like messed up in his human face. And
Oh,
then
really?
also a character called Jimmy Red McCoy, who is
I saw that.
a crime boss in Batman comics. So that might factor in. So nothing crazy, but it's cool to see like things starting to fill out. I'm sure we'll see more stuff. People are also freaking out about the GCPD logo being different than the Batman's. They're like, this is confirmation that they can't be the same thing. And I'm like, guys, that's just like,
Stop it.
it's the endless debate until it finally gets fucking
Yeah.
solved.
Yeah. I imagine
The
when we see a trailer from this, we'll probably know for sure.
Yeah, and then I think one other thing I saw is that on the clapboards they have the Clayface logo for a comic storyline where Batman shows up at the very end. I forget what it's called, but it's one where Clayface like morphs and kills like a ton of different people, and then Batman like shows up at the very end.
Oh, cool.
So that would be cool if they did that. I don't think Batman needs to be at all a big presence in this, but it'd be cool to see him in like a very small capacity.
It's going to be interesting because, unlike the Sony movies,
Hmm.
there is an established Batman in this universe. We've
Right.
already seen him. So I'm curious to see how they tackle that.
I wouldn't mind a very similar scene for
No,
Clayface
neither would
that
I.
they did in Creature Commandos, where it's just mostly his shadow.
Yeah, you don't even need to show an actor.
Exactly, especially if they're not set on casting someone. Like, why
Yeah.
even bother? But I'm excited, man. I really think this one's going to be cool. I don't
I'm
think it's going
excited.
to be like top of the line DCU. I
It
think it's
just
going to be
needs
a
to be a
fun,
good horror movie.
yeah, like a
And
fun
that's
creature
something that
feature.
Marvel doesn't have. So
Yeah, and we feel like this one is for sure going to be like rated R.
we know it's rated R.
Oh, we know it's rated
We
R.
know this for a
Okay.
fact. Yeah.
That's exciting. I
Yeah.
saw his face, like the main actor, and it was like all
Rad.
bloodied and fucked up, and I'm
Awesome.
like, man, I do wish it was a period piece though. It kind of bums me out.
Valid.
Yeah, yeah. Last thing on here, we talked about Lego Batman last week,
Hmm.
which is big. Now we have more video game news because George Newbern, who plays Superman, was at a con. We always get like random stuff from Comic Cons because actors just like don't care. And he said that he's working on Injustice 3. Now, obviously, this isn't like confirmation from like a trade or something, but if a voice actor, I remember the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga game got leaked because the guy that voices the battle droids, I think his name is Matthew Wood,
Yeah.
he literally said that that's what he was working on,
Oh,
and
that's
then a
so
couple
funny.
months later that game got revealed. I fully believe that. I mean, they've been rumors that this thing's been being worked on for a long time,
Yeah.
and then Phil Lamar, who does John Stewart, Green Lantern, and Justice, came out and said that they're have putting a new one out. I don't know if he's involved, but he said that, and so I think it's happening. I have mixed feelings on it. I don't know. Have you played a lot of the Injustice games?
Just casually. I've never played through the
Okay.
stories.
I played the first one through the story and I played the mobile versions a lot. I think it's not the game that DC needs right now. which is like maybe overreacting a bit, but like another evil Superman thing,
Yeah,
just a fighter game. I think DC needs like a proper
like story driven
like
game. Yeah.
RPG. Yeah, yeah. Full Spider-Man PS4 style thing. And that's why I'm so still pissed that the Wonder Woman game got canceled because that would have been a great like entry there.
That really is a bummer.
I also between this and Lego Batman, I'm worried that WB Games is like afraid to do new things with DC in terms of video games because
Yeah,
maybe like Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad failed, but there's reasons those failed,
because they were
not
bad.
because of like what they were. People were excited for what they were. They just turned out to be bad, like mediocre to bad games. I'm worried they're not going to take risk. And then when are we ever going to get a Superman game or like a Justice League game or
I
anything
feel like
cool?
that people are just having a hard time like cracking that Superman game. I feel like I just feel like behind the scenes they're really struggling with that.
Do you think they're trying to develop one?
I think so. You'd be stupid not to.
I just I think you all you have to do is what the movie did and not make him as powerful and tough immediately. Just put him in his early years, and you can have a fun game.
No,
I
I
think
agree. I think it's possible. I just think they need to lock in.
they need to lock in, and we've talked. I mean, like week two, we talked about WB games kind of falling apart and restructuring, and so DC on the video game side has always been interesting to me, and I think the double punch of Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad kind of killed the IP for a little bit, and I want to see it bounce back. I think Lego Batman's going to help, but Injustice 3 is like feels like a step back instead of a step forward.
Yeah.
That's all I got for this week.
Awesome.
Next week we're going to talk about Batman Hush. So thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you soon.